Hello and welcome or welcome back to another few days in my life. If I could pick any theme of this chapter of my life, it would be the and. This is the chapter of the and, which is basically saying it's kind of a chapter about balance. It's really about the blend of all of these elements that come together to create all of our unique lives. And I've really realized that for me as an artist, as someone who creates for a living, having the right balance is kind of what fuels my inspiration. I've realized in all of the seasons of doing all of the different activities that I do, that actually a really important part of the balance is sharing my process of creation. In an interesting way, that is more fulfilling to me than just the act of painting alone. And this is something that has been on my heart for a while. And I think in the last season of stopping and starting again, it's really taken root that this is a direction that I want to go more in this next chapter. On the theme of blending, as I mentioned in my last video, two elements that I'm blending together this season are the old art and garden pieces. And I have been really craving to get into plein air painting. For any of you who don't know what that is, it's just painting outdoors, mostly seen in the art world in Impressionism. When you think of plein air painting, you think of Monet and all of his friends painting outside in Provence. Believe it or not, this is the first time I have painted en plein air in this garden. There are a couple of reasons for that. One of them is the garden has been more in like a vision state than a ready to paint from state. I don't know if you know this, but it took Monet 10 years of growing his garden until he started to paint it. And that gives me great solace, just in knowing that there's no right timeline. Almost each morning, I pick one little garden project to do, which makes me feel like I'm making progress, but in this really nice and slow and steady pace. This season, I am taking all of my old seeds, some of them are even like COVID purchases, and I'm just seeing what sprouts. Now, these tomatoes, I didn't expect any of them to sprout, and they pretty much all did. They were very happy seeds. So I have an abundance of tomatoes, and I'm dividing them and giving the gift of tomato to a couple of people, including my neighbors. Oh, I can't tell you what a good idea to have jasmine or really anything fragrant at the front door. She kind of wafts in through the window of the studio, and it's just the most delightful experience. It is very rare that I will have an afternoon matcha, but sometimes it's just such a treat. Today, I wanted to get into my next artist of inspiration, Joaquín Sorolla. And I am not a Spanish speaker, so feel free to correct me on my pronunciation of that. He was a garden painter, and he created this gorgeous garden for the purpose of painting and to kind of integrate his work and his house and his life and his family, hanging out. And he painted all of that. It just became this fuel of inspiration. That is so inspiring to me because not only do I want to be painting in my garden, but I want other people to come and join me. That's kind of my vision here. I would really love to revive the idea of like an artist colony, an artist colony light. I don't need the people to be like living here or anything. But it would just be, I think, so delightful, and I think Garden Coco would love it, if she had visitors and we painted together. So I'm throwing that out there, and we'll see what happens in the upcoming years. For this next phase of adding the details on this climbing rose piece, I decided to do it indoors because I was a little traumatized by the falling of the painting last time. But also, I can actually see the rose from outside, and the detail phase is a little bit more of like a focus phase of my own painting process. So I thought I would just open the studio window and look at the rose as I painted. And in doing this piece, since this is a new series of work and I'm kind of in the exploration phase, I am actually not sure how detailed I want to take it. There's a part of me that always loves a loose oil painting that's really expressive. But I'm also right now really drawn to Sorolla's detail and his capturing of light. He was known as the painter of light. I'm also just kind of really loving luxuriously hanging out with the painting for a while. So I don't think that this is a stopping point for this painting, but I also don't want to push it, because in the pushing it, that's always when things get ruined. So we will see how it shapes up over the upcoming weeks. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this little glimpse into the beginnings of becoming a garden painter. And how about you? What do you have going on? Is there anything in your life that you feel like you want to blend, or you want to move towards, or you want to give up? That is such a huge theme for me this season. So I would love to hear about it, and until we meet again. Teddy time.
Center.
Wow!
We got center down, right? Center. Yes. Good center.
Oh, Teddy.